Courses that challenge, inspire, and illuminate, with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities. And then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Farm. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
You ask the question, who has been in my life that's been a comprehensive man, strong but sensitive, courageous, but also compassionate? They didn't have the opportunity. Men of our era couldn't talk like me and you talking right now. My father's era, I mean. They would go gamble. When my brother got murdered, he found out some information on it at a pool hall, where everyone wears a facade, everyone fakes it. And you understand this by being a professional athlete. You can't even convey that you're injured to your coaches because it may jeopardize your playing time. So I say myself, because I had to learn how to be more than just strong, a protector and provider, or what we would call masculine, because my mother had suffered dementia, and she needed someone stronger than providing money, someone who protected her from doctors who pushed pills on her. She needed someone to be understanding and patient and long suffering. When she would have these mental episodes where she would curse me out, saying, you know, I would never treat you like this, talking to me like she didn't even raise me. And still I had to have the capacity or the self-control to massage her scalp and say, Mama, it's going to be okay. So I learned how to become tender, but also tough, because whenever someone tried to treat her wrong, they saw a different side of me. So I would say I was the first man in my own life to be comprehensive, to be a nurturer, and also a lion as well.
I want to have this great conversation with you, right? Where I think oftentimes as Black men, we suffer from a lot of things. One being ego, but I don't want to lead with that, with this particular situation. As I go back to the actual question, is, you know, obviously the creation of what we know now as, you know, a person who's been very impactful in his world, and that's all we can ask for any man. But when you ask the question, who, and you reply, you, is that a defense mechanism? Because whether you want to agree to it or not, it could be situations in life that have shaped, mold, guided your thought process, and like, yo, I don't want to do that. Hey, I want to do this. Man, I see a empty space on the canvas here, so I'm gonna draw there. I think a lot of people feel or do not highlight what impacted them, that shaped them in a way.
You asked a specific question, though. Mm-hmm. You said which man in my life was a nurturer, and what was the other one?
Tough.
Tough.
Tender.
Tender and tough. I said no. It wasn't. Now, if you're asking me, have I had influential men in my life? There's a long list. See, what you're describing is a comprehensive man, and I coined the phrase because it didn't exist. Mm-hmm. As men.
Okay. You already know what it is. Today's my Friday. The voice of reason is back up in here. And I really enjoy that, brother. Jason Wilson. I really enjoy Jason Wilson's work. You can tell that he's a genuine and integrous person. And like I said, I enjoy his work. You know what I had to learn, though, as a man, since we're talking about manhood tonight? There is no perfect way to say the truth. There's no perfect way to tell the truth. Sometimes we get so caught up, myself included, caught up on how the words are said that we miss the intention behind the words. We miss the energy behind the words. And so everybody's trying to describe men. Now, no disrespect to the good brother Jason Wilson, but you can't say you created a comprehensive man, because comprehensive, one could argue, is the same thing as what we've been talking about for the last couple of months now, which is individuation, where one is blending their shadow, right, with their persona. That's Carl Jung, but Carl Jung didn't create it. It had existed within ancient societies and cultures for a long time. Self-realization, self-actualization, Christ consciousness, the mystic Sufis. Everybody had a version of it. West Africa, the Ori. So you can't say I coined it because it didn't exist. No, it did exist. Right? So let's not get caught up in the words, but I do understand the meaning behind why you say what you say. And that meaning is there needs to be more comprehensive men, more integrated men. Because if you listen to how they're framing the discussion between him and Cam Newton, that was the clip we played, they're talking about this duality within manhood that manhood typically struggles with, and that is the tenderness and the toughness. You can juxtapose that to mask, shadow. Typically, man's shadow tender as doctor's cotton. I'm talking about men. Men, y'all want to talk? Tender as doctor's cotton. Soft. Creamy, peanut buttery. You know what I'm talking about. Soft. Soft as Wonder Bread. That shadow is soft. Right? But the mask is tough. That's what hyper-masculinity is. It's an overcompensation for an inner softness that you're afraid of, ashamed of. Right? Like, so no disrespect to the brother Jason Wilson, because I really, truly, and deeply resonate with his message. Remember, I always say language, right, is the problem, right? Language is symbolic. This is why I presented Alfred Korzybski's work to you, General Semantics. I presented E prime. I don't know. Do you guys know many people walking around talking about E prime? Have you ever heard of E prime before I came in here, Andy? English prime. English without is and to be, right? So we have to be careful of the words we use. One of the famous quotes, most famous quotes from Alfred Korzybski, the map is not the territory. He's talking about linguistic maps. Sometimes we get so caught up in the phraseology and the framing of what a man is linguistically that we think that that is an accurate representation of what it means to be spiritually, psychologically, and energetically man. Physically man. You don't know what it is to be us unless you're us. Right? So no disrespect to the brother, him and Cam. The work is still the work, and it is good work. But I wanted to point that out. There are comprehensive men that have existed. Would anybody argue that Christ was a comprehensive man? Would anybody argue against Buddha being a comprehensive man? Because we're talking about merging two sides of ourselves. And if we take it just from the clip of their conversation, which is tenderness and softness, right? If we just take it from there have been men that have cultivated both within themselves. You hear the spiritual brothers. What is the epithet for spiritual brothers? What's the word? They got a word where they kind of diss them by calling them Hotep. They be like the Hoteps. It's true. Listen, you got to get in touch with your divine feminine, brother. That's why you off balance. You understand? You know what I mean? You got to balance the divine masculine with the divine feminine, brother. Then your world will change. You're going to manifest all type of stuff, brother. No disrespect. But I'm just listening to that clip, and that's what I'm pulling in. So that leads us to tonight's topic. The company man versus the comprehensive man. A man that has gravitas, internal gravitas, nuance, complexity from inner conquering. What? Complexity from inner conquering? Yes, that's where the nuance comes from. The nuance, the balance of it all. Yeah, these men exist, right? Now, don't say they don't exist. In exploration, hey, I'm sorry, we gonna get into it, okay? The company man is not merely an overworked individual. He is the residue of an ancient rite, stripped of revelation and sold back as employment. The comprehensive man is not a softer version of the company man. He is a different species, born of initiation, one who reclaims sensation, language, and presence as acts of quiet revolution. Again, what does that mean? A comprehensive man. We're going to get really deep into it. Somebody said a corporate Sambo. Oh my God. The last refuge of the disappearing man. Every age invents a ritual for offering men to the fire. Once it was the hunt, the spear, the plow. Now it's the spreadsheet, the mortgage, the quiet suffocation of a smile that hides the tremor in the jaw. We baptize boys in slogans like "Be a man," "Man up," "Take one for the team," until language itself becomes a weaponized lullaby. B.F. Skinner's, he mapped the reward loop: promotions for silence, orgasms for conquest, applause for self-erasure. The nervous system learns, the lesson before the mind can protest. Now that's very interesting the way that is written. Before the mind can protest. And it makes that little piece right there reminds me of anxious preoccupied. Anxious preoccupied as an attachment theory or style has what is known as protest behaviors. And that was just heavy to read that. Man, that hurt to hear that. Ooh, the nervous system learns the lesson before the mind can protest. Vanish to be valued. But anthropology whispers a darker secret. Cultures that confuse sacrifice with virtue eventually eat their own seed. Cross-cultural studies of male initiation, from Dogon star myths to Vedic fire rites, show that the original purpose of trial was not obedience but awakening, to break the boy's allegiance to tribe so he could serve it freely. Capitalism pirated the right and kept only the pain. We no longer awaken men. We harvest men. Listen, we harvest men. Clinical science rewards the carnage. Babette Rothschild tracks the vagal shutdown masquerading as stoicism. Patrick Carnes diagrams trauma bonds in which provision becomes possession and love becomes a hostage negotiation. Anderson Franklin names the invisibility syndrome, where black men labor twice to be counted once, dying decades early from hypertension that is more theology than biology. Attachment theory calls it avoidant. Jason Wilson calls it emotional incarceration. Both describe a nervous system holding its breath for a respect that never arrives. Holds his breath for a respect that never arrives. When we come forward, we're going to talk about the man, us men, the comprehensive man versus the company man. Let's get it.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cow Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte. Let's preserve Black land stories before they're lost forever. I want to personally invite you to be a part of something historic. As journalist in residence for the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, I've joined forces with powerhouse attorney and social justice champion George Fothery, the man who helped make history by delivering justice to the Bruce family in Manhattan Beach, securing the first known return of land unjustly taken from Black owners by a local government. That victory was monumental, but it was just the beginning. For generations, Black families have acquired land through grit, faith, and determination, only to lose it through violence, legal loopholes, forced sales, and systematic racism. What's been taken goes far beyond dirt and deeds. It's the erasure of wealth, identity, and legacy. That's why we've launched the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project, a national effort to collect, protect, and preserve the stories of Black land lost before they're buried, forgotten, or erased altogether. Because there's power in telling Black stories, there is resistance in remembering, and there's justice in being seen and heard. This is where you come in. We're inviting you to be a part of this historic Black narrative archive. If you or someone you know has experienced land loss, displacement, or forced property sales, your story deserves to be heard and remembered. Your story belongs in this archive. Your truth matters not just to your family, but to our collective future. Visit blacklandlost.org today. Fill out our simple intake form and add your voice to the National Archive of Remembrance, Resilience, and Reckoning. Let's make these stories live on, not in whispers, but on the record. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
You want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
How can a low-value man be high-functioning?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I want to clear this up.
Okay.
Kevin Samuels used his low value or his term of value as the noun of value, which is morals and values, which I love that too. I loved his term as well, right? Morals and values of a person. I use the value term as an adjective word, which is value in your success, your accolades, your money, your relationships, what you got going on socially, economically. So when I say a man can be low value, that just means that he doesn't make a lot of money. His economic status isn't high. He's not affluent. High functioning just means that this man has emotional intelligence. He has ability to regulate his emotions. He has ability to sit and create resolve with us and not bring in more impairment into our conversation, right? A perfect example of high functioning is what me and your beautiful wife just did.
Yeah.
We had a perception exchange. There's things that she heard me say that she pushed back on, but there was never a time where our emotions wouldn't allow us to receive each other.
Right.
Yeah,
And still not have a respectful conversation. And after this, still give a hug and love on each other and have a glass of wine if we wanted to, right?
Yeah.
So again, a low value man is a man who just economically isn't affluent.
Gotcha.
Doesn't make a lot of money, just to put it out there easy. High functioning means this man can have a conversation.
Okay.
This man can regulate his emotions.
Okay.
He can receive a difference in opinion.
Okay.
Right? He is not fleeing or sabotaging the conversation as soon as things don't go his way because his inability to sit in uncomfortable emotions or sit in discomfort when the table isn't turning to him. Just like a high value, low functioning man, which is a lot of many men who are in power are high value, low functioning. High value meaning what? They got the money. They got the value. They got the home. They got the real estate portfolio. They got the yacht. They can travel, right? They can in their illusion, in their fake fairy tale ideology, can purchase a woman. Women can't be bought. That's a whole nother episode.
Some
They
can't.
can't be bought. They being bought every day.
Let's talk about that
They
too.
being
Let's talk
bought
about-
right now.
They definitely being bought.
And men are getting exactly what they paying for.
And when you say that, what you mean?
They getting what they paying for. That's
Like.
You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
They getting either vagina, an STD, or a baby mama.
Okay.
That's it. That's all you buying. You can't buy substance. You can't buy love. You can't buy this.
No.
You can't buy
No,
marriage.
no.
This ain't bought. Okay, this ain't bought. This is built. This is built.
Yeah.
This is intimacy. This is love. This is conversation. This is love each other by knowledge of each other. This can't be bought.
For sure.
You have a woman.
Well, you can't buy love, but you can buy a woman, though. She might not
You
love
can buy a body.
Okay.
There you go.
You can buy a vessel.
Okay.
You can have an exchange for a service from a woman, whether it's time, sex, or time or sex. Oh, I'm sorry. Time or sex. Oh, I'm sorry. Those aren't substances, right? So you can buy those. That's called solicitation and prostitution. Okay, I'm back. Now you asked about high functioning and low value.
Yeah.
A high value, low functioning guy has a lot of money. That's value, but he has low functioning behavior. He can't process his emotions. He has a lot of narcissistic characteristics. If the conversation goes in a way that doesn't work for him, guess what? On to the next.
It's a lot of men
he's on
like
sabotage. Yeah. Or he doesn't want to have this conversation anymore. Or you just not conducive for him.
Okay.
Right? So in that circumstance I just described, that's a man who is more than likely doing what? Buying a woman.
So
Or let me say it better, buying a body. Because you can't buy a woman, you're buying a
Buy a
body.
body.
You're buying a body.
So tell me this. So would a woman prefer a low value, high functioning man? Is that something you would prefer?
A woman?
No, I'm
me?
speaking to you.
Oh, me. So I love that. So if I had to choose between a high value, low functioning, right? Or high functioning, low value man, I would take the low value, high functioning.
You would?
I have to have a man who loves me, supports me, who understands intimacy, not just sex, who can hold a conversation with me, an intellectual conversation, who can be transactional and relational with me, who, when my strong opinion gets strong, he can sit in the discomfort of that. When his strong opinion gets strong, I can sit in that discomfort and still make him dinner. I can still make sure Daddy has what he needs in the morning.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams is denying claims he was bribed to quit the mayoral race after Curtis Sliwa alleged Andrew Cuomo offered him money to drop out.
No one has not offered me money to leave the race, and we would not accept it if it was offered.
Polls show Adams trailing badly, with Democrats Ram Mamdani leading, Cuomo second, and Sliwa third. The Trump administration is pulling $65 million in grants from magnet schools in New York City, Chicago, and Fairfax, Virginia, saying they violated civil rights laws. Officials ordered changes to transgender, DEI, and Black student success programs, but when districts refused, the funding was cut. And the 65th annual Skyview Open wrapped up this week in Asheville, North Carolina. The tournament, known as the longest-running Black-owned golf event, highlights Black golfers. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Those destructive termites, swarming and munching 24/7. Not to mention pesky mosquitoes, ants, spiders, and fleas. Put Dewey Pest and Termite Control into action. Family run for 96 years. Get your free inspection at DeweyPest.com. That's DeweyPest.com.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Yo, it's Zoe Williams, the VOR, and I know you're tired of pretty gems with pretty lies, where people seem to scroll more than they sweat. Well, it's time to level up. Welcome to Huff and Puff, where excuses die and champions rise. Smack dab at 1221 North La Brea on the corner of Fairview. This ain't a photo shoot, it's a battleground. Certified achievers in the game. Trainers who grind with you, not post pictures beside you. Whether you're chasing your next personal record or just trying to outrun your past, this is your sanctuary of sweat. No mirrors, no filters, no fluff, just pain, passion, and purpose. Stop talking, start training, huff hard, puff loud, be legendary. Where folks go to war with their weaknesses. Huff and Puff.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-237-8585. That's 800-237-8585. Again, that's 800-237-8585.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, I think what I hear you saying is that as a man, I don't have to just live in the realm of provide and protect. I'm not limited to that. Matter of fact, that hinders me.
What happens, brother? I mean, when you're older, say you're 70 now, you're retired. Well, let's use athletics, for example. Why do you think it's so hard for athletes to retire?
Their identity is wrapped up. Yep.
When I speak to professional athletes, the most liberating thing I can tell them is that you weren't created to play this sport. Some of them even start crying because it frees them. Like, when you're 70 now, you feel you're useless. I got men who worked on assembly lines feeling like they're nothing because they can't provide the same way they used to.
I want to actually, I'm glad you said that, right? You said that these men end up crying because of that reality. I knew of you way beforehand, but the world knew you because, you know, there was a young man who was breaking a board in your martial arts class, and you let him cry and work through his emotions, which no one had really ever seen, right? No one has seen a martial arts teacher, like, dealing with somebody trying to break a board, like, cry, let it out. You know what I mean? And that video went viral, like millions of views later. I'm curious, like, men started calling you to cry to you on the phone. Like, what happened?
So this was deep, brother.
So that's a good brother, Jason Wilson, yet again. And Jason Wilson has an amazing book. You should get it. It's called Cry Like a Man. Fighting for freedom from emotional incarceration. Again, what we're doing in this conversation tonight is trying to unpack all of the linguistic mapping that has incarcerated men. To be man, to be masculine, embody it. What does that embodiment mean? Right? As a man, a heterosexual man, part of being a man for me is when other people see the man in my son and can trace it back to me. So when they say, oh, you know, the fruit don't fall too far from the tree, that is how I embody manhood a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay. There's something that I feel when I hear that. You know, I just set up my oldest son, to speak at Grambling State this morning, and he did, all the way from, you know, where he is playing professional ball. But I said, hey, man, you got to show up. You got to speak to the student body about, you know, your mindset as a professional ball player. One of our team members in the cultivation of helping him become a man was doing this seminar. And I said, you got to be a part of it, because part of being a man is provision. And he said, well, how is this provision? I said, giving back is provision, right? If people, sowed into you, you got to sow into others, right? But you are not made by sowing, right? You're not made by sowing. But sowing is a participatory act that says, hey, if I take from a source, I have to return something to that source. That's part of manhood. That's provision. If I took from her body, because that's what happens in the process of pregnancy. The baby is in the body developing and pulling from her bones, her teeth, her hair. So do you understand what I'm saying? If I did that to her, then I got to pour back into her to replenish what I've done, my part in it. Do you get what I'm saying? That's provision. And presence on top of that is, I'm going to be here as you go through. See, you're going to hit a trough. If we're speaking in economics, you're going to hit a floor, right? Okay, I put a baby in you. It pulled the resources out of you. So I'm going to be present as you go through losing your hair, appetite swings, mood swings. You're hitting a trough. But then I'm also going to be there in support as you begin to make your ascent back up. See, that's what manhood is. What do you need? Yes, I'm going to be there to help you with that. But also manhood is this: the right to disappoint. Oh, I was getting the finger snaps. On the first part, I was getting the finger snaps. But manhood is the right to disappoint. A boundary playbook needs to be written, right? For men who over-provide, for men who provide to people that could care less about the person providing the provision. They care more about there's some now that care more about the provision than they do the person. In healthy love, disappointment functions like insulin. A precise dose prevents relational diabetes. I know you don't want to hear it put that way. See, because society has been set up to say, hey, a man is a 24-hour, 7 days a week human 7-Eleven, an AM PM. A good man is going to be there whenever you need him. A good man won't ever let you down. And regardless of how you act, a good man is still going to remain on his square. He's not going to be moved by your inability to regulate your emotions or your inability to control your manipulative ways that you've learned since child. Let me tell you something. True manhood knows, hey, this is the moment to disappoint, because isn't part of a man's job is to do the hard stuff? Women and kids go first, men go last. Your life is worth less than theirs, right? So sometimes the hard stuff is to cut folk off who don't appreciate your presence, your protection, your provision, who don't respect your boundaries. So part of manhood is the right to disappoint those who don't appreciate, those who don't respect, and that goes for men or women. See, don't get being a real man caught up with people pleasing and Captain Save 'em. Don't get, do you understand? And fawning and, oh, baby, please, baby, whatever you need. That's not manhood. That is a broken man. That is a chronological adult, but an inner child you talking to that's baby, pleasing. Real men don't chase. Real men don't convince. Real men don't over-explain. Real men don't tolerate your inability to look inward. Sister, I know you don't want to hear me talk to you like this tonight. People pleasing often hides attachment anxiety. Being the rock can be a bid for control and not care. Your psychiatric insight here: chronic fawn responses, appease, overgive, map to autonomic threat. Tolerating another's disappointment expands window of tolerance. Oh, man, got to be tolerant of everything. No, brother, you don't. And you don't have to be on stage, on the relational stage, performing until your feet bleed. If a person doesn't respect the giver, why give? If a person doesn't respect the provider, why provide? Now we quiet, huh? Everybody want to be quiet? 1-800-920-1580. Your philosophical insight. NE prime, English prime. I disappoint you becomes I decline this request. A shift from moral failure to choice. Listen to that. That is a shift from moral failure to choice. Let me tell you, this is why E prime is so important in how we frame a man. A man is the living process of individuation. But guess what? Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like there's more to it? Yes. So is a woman. A woman is a living embodiment of individuation. That is what relationship is for. And when you don't individuate, you have these nonsensical kind of conversations talking about high value in society, low value emotionally. He got to be both in order to be my type of guy. You're asking for a socially and spiritually individuated person? Do you know how difficult it is to individuate alone internally yourself, to heal your wounds? What? To merge your shadow with your mask? Do you know how difficult that is alone? It's easier to become a multimillionaire than it is to individuate. And you're saying, well, I would prefer a high-functioning man over a low-value man. That just shows people are so confused about what they're talking about. Relationships, spiritual classroom. It's just that simple. Don't complicate it any further. It's a spiritual university, the university of you, where you expose you to you all day in America. Now, folk don't want, listen, how you going to talk about a low value man? Hold on. You want to talk about a low value man? Okay, listen. Low value in terms of society, right? In terms of society, you can't talk about low-value black man on nothing until you deal with the generational wealth gap that's happening. You can't open your mouth and say, oh, socially, he's low value. He broke. He doesn't fit my lifestyle. You better pray to God that you have a lifestyle, because you're a part of a ethnic group that's at the bottom. So the fact that you're not at the bottom, you should be on your hands and knees thanking God every day. Don't let anyone tell you this wealth is held by billionaires or the top 1% of white families. We are really looking at about the top 35 to 40% of white families, or about 30 to 40 million white homes that have all of the wealth. Not just a magical top 1%. Here's an example. Just the third decile, or about 8 million white homes have about 7% of the wealth, or that equals about $11.76 trillion. So that's just the slither of the whites, the 8 million homes, the 8 million families that are only, that's only from their third decile, right? Have twice the wealth of all 20 million black families. Listen, we got about $7 trillion. They have nearly $130 trillion in wealth. They got 11 trillion liquid in their businesses. We got, what, 700 billion? 350 to 700 billion in our businesses. Hey, he's a high value man. According to this system that was rigged for you to lose. And then later in the conversation, the young lady basically said, oh no, I can't be with a low value man because he doesn't fit my lifestyle, even if he's high functioning emotionally. What? Man, when we come forward, the voice of reason, I'm going to the phone lines, I promise. When we come forward, we're going to talk about it some more.
Relationships. Got you confused? Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure.
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Mass hallucination, baby. Ill education, baby. Wanna reconnect with your elation. This is your station, baby.
Look inside these walls and you see I'm having withdrawals of a prisoner
winner on his way. Trapped inside your desire to fire bullets that stray. Track a tire, just tell you I'm tired and ran away. I should ask a choir, what do you require to sing a song that acquire me to have faith? That's the record spin, I should pray. For the record, I recognize that I'm easily prey. I got 8 alive yesterday. I got animosity building. It's probably big, it's a building. Me jumping off of the roof. It's me just playing it safe. But what am I supposed to do when the topic is red or blue? And you understand that I ain't, but know I'm accustomed to just a couple that look for trouble and live in the street with rank. No better picture to paint than me walking from Bible study and called his homies because he had said he noticed my face from a function that took in place. They was wondering if I banged. Step on my neck and get blood on your Nike checks. I don't mind, cause one day you respect the good kid, Mad City. Mass hallucination, baby.
When God builds a man, he doesn't do it in a moment. He does it in seasons, through struggle, through stillness, through fire and silence. He doesn't just hand over strength, he forges it. He doesn't give answers right away, he teaches patience. And when he builds a man, he is not just interested in what the man can do, but in who the man becomes.
Come on.
God builds a man in the dark when no one is watching. In the quiet places where pride is stripped away and character is formed, he allows disappointment to shape humility. He uses delay to grow faith. He stretches a man until what's weak breaks and what's strong stays. God isn't building convenience, he's building conviction. The world celebrates what's seen. God focuses on the unseen. A man built by God may be hidden for a time, misunderstood, even overlooked. But God is not rushed. He is crafting someone who can carry purpose with purity, someone who can lead without losing themselves, someone who doesn't just survive storms, but stands through them. When God builds a man, he builds him to last. He's not made of ego or applause, but of integrity, endurance, and quiet trust. He's not driven by the approval of people, but anchored in the calling of God. That kind of man doesn't crumble when life gets hard. He stands because God built him that way. So if you're in a season where it feels like nothing's moving, where the weight is heavy and the way is unclear, take heart. Maybe God isn't punishing you. Maybe he's building you. And when God builds a man, he finishes what he starts. When God builds a man, he never rushes the process. It is never instant or hurried. True growth and transformation take time, often much longer than we expect or desire. This growth unfolds through various seasons, some filled with struggle, others with silence, and many with what may feel like waiting or even emptiness. It is not something that happens overnight or in a single moment of triumph, and instead it is a gradual and deliberate process, one that shapes a man's heart, mind, and spirit in ways that are deep and lasting. The idea of instant change is tempting in a world that values quick fixes and immediate results. We want progress that we can measure quickly, milestones that are visible and celebrated publicly. But when God is building a man, he often chooses a different path. He works quietly and patiently, often away from the eyes of others, in seasons that may feel confusing or difficult. These seasons are necessary because they create the conditions for true growth to happen. Growth that is not just surface level or temporary, but that goes deep into a man's character and soul. Struggle is a key part of this process. God allows struggles because they test and stretch a man's faith, resilience, and patience. Struggle teaches lessons that comfort never could. It shows a man his weaknesses, forcing him to rely on something greater than himself. In the midst of hardship, a man learns to persevere, to find strength even when he feels weak.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black New York City Mayor Eric Adams is denying claims he was bribed to quit the mayoral race after Curtis Sliwa alleged Andrew Cuomo offered him money to drop out.
No one has not offered me money to leave the race, and we would not accept it if it was offered.
Polls show Adams trailing badly, with Democrat Zohran Mamdani leading, Cuomo second, and Sliwa third. The Trump administration is pulling $65 million in grants from magnet schools in New York City, Chicago,